my name is Jason J. Rock Houston. You're listening to Chaotic Riffs Magazine. We can be found on the web at www.chaoticriffs.com. It's my great pleasure to be speaking with the band Motograter. How are you guys doing tonight?
Excellent. We're doing good, man.
And so I understand you guys have just signed with the EMP Label Group, which of course is a great new label by Megadeth bass player David Ellison. He's top of the label. So how did you guys hook up with him?
Basically through Tom Hazard, he's the man, and I've been talking to him for a long time, and it just kind of made sense to go that route. Dave Ellison contacted us, said the band was kick ass and that he really wanted us, and they're just willing to push us hard, and that's what we need and want, so it's going to be awesome. Yeah, I mean, what I dig about the label is, they literally just launched at the beginning of this year, and they've already put out so many great releases. They got just a great roster of artists. I mean, Dave being from Megadeth, you'd think he'd be putting out nothing but metal bands, but they've got everything. I mean, a lot of it is metal, but for example, they got Chuck Mosley, who was the original singer from Faith No More. They got you guys. They got Hail Sagan, Dead by Wednesday. I mean, just there's something for everybody, and that's one of the things I just love about the label. Yeah, Anthony just picked up Waylon Rivas' new band, ex-Mushroomhead singer, A Killer's Confession.
Oh yeah, I recently had a chance to interview him as well, and yeah, that's another project I'm really excited about. So, with you guys signing with them, do you have an album that's that you're working on, that you're recording? Is it about ready to? You have a release date, or where are you at with that?
Well, our album finished right now is being mixed as we speak by
Josh Wickman.
And in the can, it's already has album art, it already has titles, called Desolation. It should be out in February, I believe.
March, I think.
March, whatever. Same difference.
And one thing I love about your band is, not only you guys got great music, but you got a great great visual thing going as well, and great live show. I mean, talk a little bit about the history of the band. How long have you guys been around?
The band started way back in the day by a couple guys from Texas who came out to Santa Barbara and basically invented the instrument. And at that point, it was just basically a noise project. And it wasn't until I joined the band in 2003, and then shortly thereafter, we found Ivan Moody. And then we made that self-titled disc. But then, shortly thereafter, the band broke up, and it, kind of had a couple false starts until we got this lineup, and we got James singing, and so we've been on the road a couple times now, and we're starting to kind of make a name for ourselves again. So it's almost like a brand new band in a way. Yeah,
I was going to ask about that because you guys have been around for a little while, I know, and you're one of those bands that you kind of got your cult following, but you really haven't broken out in a big way. And I think maybe with this new deal with EMP Label Group, hopefully you guys will get a little more exposure. But like I was saying earlier, besides being a band's got great music, you guys really got something great visually going. So I was curious, whose idea was it to kind of have a visual thing going as as well as just great music?
I think that you have to give credit to Joey Shabonsky, because he's the one that was almost kind of like a quiet one, an original guy, and he actually invented the Motograter instrument and then switched over to these spur drums that are still in the band. Both of those instruments are we still utilize. And he was kind of a freak, he worked as an ESP, worked, driving all over Santa Barbara, saving people's lives and seeing mangled bodies and stuff. He was kind of a freak, but he started throwing baby powder on his whole body, and it turned into paint, and then shoe polish at one point, and so now here we are, lathering paint all over our bodies on the East Coast in the freezing weather, so thanks to him.
And so obviously this is something I would say that you necessarily didn't kind of plan out. It just kind of organically happened. But talk about the first time you guys kind of got into costumes and that, and kind of hit the stage, and people saw you like that for the first time. It must have been kind of an awesome, unique feeling.
Well, it is. Sometimes, you get like stage fright or nerves, and I always found with this band, as soon as I put the first layer of paint on,
Yeah.
I was almost like impervious to any of that. My butterflies went away, and I was just kind of ready to go to war. So it takes about 30 or 40 minutes to apply the paint, and after you go through that, you're pretty much just ready to go up and smash. So it works good in that regard.
And this might be a crazy question, but I was curious. Does it take longer to get in the costume, and made up, than it does to get out of a costume and get the makeup off?
It definitely takes way longer to take the paint off, and usually, you have to do it in a loogie and crust sink.
Yeah.
Somewhere cold, and a lot of times the club owners just are pissed at you, they think you're trying to ruin their establishment. They say, hey man, we're just 7 dudes out here, we have to get in a stinky van, and the paint starts to really itch if you don't get it off. So yeah, it takes a while, and if you're smart like I am, you might make your way into the ladies' room, and if you're lucky, you get a nice one to help you with your back.
Wow. And so when you guys have shows or an event to show up to, do you usually get made up like at the arena of a venue where you're playing, or on the tour bus? What's the procedure for that usually?
Well, it's funny. Usually we'll do it somewhere, wherever's warmest.
Yeah.
If it's mild, we'll go outside. Last night we were in Rochester, and the club owner, we had to paint outside. It was freezing cold. We ended up in our trailer, kind of basically enduring the elements. Hopefully no one gets sick, but yeah, most times we'll just do, we'll either do it in the bathroom or somewhere backstage.
Wow. And so you guys, you have a show tonight? Are you playing anywhere, or is this the day off?
We actually have tonight off, so we just did a little barbecue in the park, and now we're at Hotel 6 talking to you.
Wow, how cool. And as far as the current tour, are you guys going to be playing any previewing any of the new music on the new album, or are you going to wait till it's released?
We're actually playing 3 songs off the new album, and it's interesting because a lot of people seem to know the words. We have a new single out called Parasite, and you can go on Spotify and listen to it, and also there's a lyric video on YouTube if you want to check it out.
Okay.
We're playing that one every night.
Oh, how cool is that? Funny you mentioned the song Parasite, because growing up I was a huge Kiss fan myself, and back in the day, we're talking about like in the 70s and early 80s when there was no internet or anything. Nobody had any idea what those guys looked like. So my question to you, being a similar type of band where you get made up in costumes and stuff, and makeup, do you enjoy kind of having that notoriety where you can kind of go out in the street and people, in your everyday clothes, everyday life, and people really don't know that, they're standing next to you or what you guys really look like?
You're making the Kiss reference from their song Parasite?
No, I was just saying, yeah, I know it's a different song. I know it's a different song.
Right, but with the same title, are you familiar with their song?
Oh yeah, and I guess the only comparison I was making was, like Kiss, back in the day, nobody had any idea what they looked like. Do you guys enjoy, first of all, getting made up like you do, and then, being able to go out in public and not have anybody kind of recognize who you are, in your everyday life?
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess for the most part, we're innocuous, but people see you, in the city.
Yeah.
You have the residual, raccoon eyes afterwards. So sometimes it's harder to be evasive. But yeah, it does have its benefits. You're not I don't know if we're that big yet, but if we ever get there, then it'll be nice to have,
Yeah. And so I'm talking about, some of your guys' influence. Who are the bands that influenced you when you were growing up?
Go ahead, Noah. Well, you were just talking to News, the guitar player, by the way. We
Okay.
never, introduced ourselves.
Okay.
But I'm Noah, I play the drums, and I can speak personally for me. I grew up listening to Pantera, Megadeth,
Wow.
Metallica, all that stuff. But when I saw Pantera live, I knew that instant. That's all I wanted to do with the rest of my life. Same thing when I saw Motograter in 2003 at Allsfest. It blew my mind, and I just had to be in a band that painted or wore masks and
wow.
that cool.
Wow. Now let me ask you, Noah, what is that like? Going from being a guy who was a fan of a band to actually being a member. That's got to be ultimate dream come true. And talk a little bit about how did you get the gig and actually wind up becoming the drummer for this band that you were once a fan of.
Well, the same goes for a few of us. Scott, the Motograter, he was a huge fan of Motograter as well. What are some other bands? But no, he was asking a question about it's humbling and it's an honor to be in a band that you were a huge fan of. I had Motograter posters on my wall, and I used to sit there and try to play crispy drum parts, and now I'm the guy, and I'm helping to carry the torch. Skunk, he used to listen to religiously to Motograter, and now he's in the band playing the Motograter. Why don't you tell him about that?
And now let me ask each of you guys, Scott and Noah, going from being a fan and joining the band, I guess Noah, in your case, I would ask, do you play the drum parts just like the guy you replaced, or do you kind of, come in and try to put your spin on the tunes?
To be honest with you, I've been listening to that album for over 10 years, religiously, and there's nothing I wanted to do more than to honor those drum parts. But, being a musician and an artist myself, I definitely wanted to give it my own flair when I could, when it was appropriate.
Yeah.
So, obviously the new stuff has a lot of me in it.
Of course, yeah.
But I add myself to some of the old parts. But I like to do crispy justice, I like to do the old Motograter. Everybody wants to hear those songs as they were written because they're timeless in my opinion, and I don't want to fuck with them too much, but I do like to add my own flavor live just because it's fun and I can add my own fills. But I'm pretty true to it, man. And
now let me ask you, as a drummer, typically there's two types of drummers. There's guys that kind of just sit on the backstage and kind of keep time, and then there's guys like, John Bonham, Carmine Appice are real physical players. Where would you say you fit in as far as, what style of drummer are you?
Some guys sit there and try to play, 2,000 BPM or, this and that, and I respect all styles of music. I respect all drumming. A lot of people don't know, but I'm pretty musically educated. I started in 6th grade. I did school band. I did high school drumline. I studied music in college. I did college drumline. I've been teaching lessons since 2001. And I can honestly say that, I have too many influences to name, but I kind of put myself in the realm of, Josh Freese, Denny Carey, Vinnie Paul.
Oh, wow.
I love groove, and I love taste and, serving song.
Yeah.
So, I can take influences from somebody like Mitch Mitchell.
Wow.
Or I can take influences from somebody like Inferno or whatever. I don't know.
But I think that's a cool thing too, because it makes you more of a diverse player as opposed to if you just listen to one style of music.
Really?
Yeah, and now you mentioned Megadeth earlier. Have you had a chance to hear their new album? I was kind of curious what you think of their new album.
Have you guys heard it? Yeah, I think we've all heard it. Yeah, we jammed it in the band. The new Megadeth album is absolutely stellar. They haven't lost any steam.
Yeah,
They're still the classic Megadeth, except, on steroids. It's just amazing what those guys do. Every album is, better than the last. I love Megadeth.
What amazes me... What amazes me...
on tour.
Yeah, they're on tour. And what amazes me about that band is, Elson and Mustaine are kind of a core of that band, but it doesn't matter, what lineup changes they go in. They just, they're still, after all these years, just one of the, top bands out there.
Yeah, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame status, you know what I mean?
They should be, yeah. Yeah, and let me ask you guys... Yeah, let me ask you guys, as far as the songwriting goes, because to me that's a big aspect of, key to any band's success. When you guys go in the studio, and do you write the tunes, or do you usually have everything right before you go into record?
Usually, what we do is we demo everything out, and we use programs to get the drums down and send the demos back and forth, and then we'll get with a producer and the songs kind of take a different shape, and then we usually have an idea of what musically we know what's going on. But with this record, James wrote all his parts in the studio in Denver with LaRue, our producer, and yeah, it turned out really good. The next record I'd like to make, with all of us present in a room.
Yeah.
It's going to be at all possible. That would be great. But with this record, it was just kind of like all over the place. The guitars were recorded in Denver. The vocals were recorded in Denver. The drums were recorded in Detroit. So bass was recorded in San Francisco. So it was kind of all over the place. But a cool experience still.
And does everybody in the band get to contribute to the songwriting, or is there like one or two guys that are the primary writers?
No, I think pretty much everyone contributes. But I mean, especially for the next record, that'll be probably more the case.
Yeah.
I think it was Mylan and I. Mylan's our bass player, by the way.
Yeah.
And Noah, that worked on the music for the most part. We were still kind of juggling a rhythm guitar player at the time. We had a couple guys quit, and now we have Jesse. But yeah, I would say everyone's involved for the most part.
Okay, that's great. Now, you guys said you're currently like touring. Are you on any kind of like a major tour? You're just like doing weekend shows or what?
No, we're actually on a U.S. tour with Flaw and Dope.
Oh.
And we're going from, basically California all the way to the East Coast and back to California. The tour ends the night before Halloween at the Whiskey A Go-Go in Hollywood.
Oh wow, that's another great under the radar band, Dope. And I think it's great for you. I mean, that's a great band for you guys to be on tour with. And I know they have a new album coming out, in just a matter of weeks. So, how's that been going, as far as the tour?
Those guys are a sick band, and they're just consummate professionals. They treated us with nothing but respect. The bus door is always open. We actually had a mosh pit in the front lounge the other night. We got hammered. Their drummer Racy, the wild man, but they're all really, great musicians, great guys, and the tour's been nothing but just, tons of love, just great crowds every night. So we've been feeling the love all the way across the country so far.
And now let me ask you, as far as your guys' previous releases, can people still get those, or any of them out of print?
I think everything, I'm not sure if Elektra Records is still printing those albums, but I kind of believe that they are. Ivan Moody's on that album, and everyone knows what he's been doing for the last few years. And you can always go on to iTunes and purchase the record.
Yeah, and the reason I was asking is I was kind of curious. I don't know if this has been discussed yet with your new label. I was kind of curious. Once the new record drops in February or March, if there's success with that, if there's any chance that they might re-release any of the older catalog.
That's a good question, and I wouldn't mind. I'm sure we'd have to do some negotiating because, I'm not sure that Elektra would actually let it go because I believe they own the right.
Oh, okay.
Forever.
Wow. Yeah, that's funny.
But it's a possibility, and I wouldn't mind seeing it re-released,
Yeah, and along with this new album, you guys will be making, you think, any new music videos, or maybe any chance of like a live DVD down the line?
That's absolutely, there's a yes to both of those. We've already been talking about treatments for the first video that we're going to release from this album.
Okay.
And I believe it's going to be for a song called Dorian.
Yeah, and let me ask you guys. So, I'm assuming once your new record drops, a record that's kind of showing my age, but once the new album hits in February or March, that people will be able to get it both physically and digitally in other formats.
Yeah, we're hoping to release it, from CDs to vinyl to digital downloads to.
It's going to be available actually internationally. It's going to be available in stores everywhere, and in many different formats, digipacks, jewel, just all kinds of different stuff. We're looking to go big with this thing.
And then, in regards to, internationally, I was kind of curious, have you guys gotten a chance to play overseas or, in other countries much, or you pretty much just been able to play, like, across the United States?
Well, we haven't been overseas yet with this lineup, but we already have several offers, and we already have several things in the works, so I think you're going to see Moto overseas very soon. And
I was curious, talking a little bit about the power of internet. I mean, that's got to be a great feeling that, I'm sure you guys get messages from fans, from, parts of the world that you haven't even stepped foot in. I mean, what's that like to know that, halfway around the world, some kid is listening to a Motograter album right now where you guys haven't even, stepped foot in that country or whatever?
It's kind of a surreal feeling, I come from just a small California beach town, and I grew up listening to some great rock guitarists from Ace Frehley to Frank Zappa to Steve Vai to Alan Holdsworth to
wow.
Angus Young to you name it.
Wow.
And to one day be like sitting here, being interviewed about someone else from a different country hearing my music. It's bizarre, but it's really cool, it's hard to describe what music meant to me growing up.
Yeah.
So, like, if I have that same effect on some kid, and it steers his or her life in a certain direction that's at all positive, then I think that's really fucking cool,
wow, that's totally cool. And I was just going to ask you. You mentioned like Ace Frehley and AC/DC. Being that you're a fan of those bands, obviously, I wanted to ask: have you had a chance to hear Ace's latest solo album, which is a covers CD?
I've heard a couple songs from it, and it's really good. I heard the song that Paul did with him.
Oh yeah, totally awesome. And just if you ever get a chance to check it out, I mean, actually he re-recorded a couple of Kiss songs, and he redid Parasite and Cold Gin, because those are two songs that he wrote, but he didn't do the original lead vocals. I mean, to finally hear Ace sing those two songs, I mean, they're just great updated versions. So if you're at all an Ace fan, I urge you to check that out. And then in regards to AC/DC, I wanted to ask, what are your thoughts as an AC/DC fan that, unfortunately Malcolm, was forced to leave because of his illness, and, Cliff Williams is leaving, and Brian Johnson's. Do you think they should, call it a day, or what do you think about them, kind of doing these shows with Axl Rose?
I gotta say that, the news about Malcolm was, for me, it was a truly sad day.
Yeah.
He's one of the most underrated, genius songwriter, Keith Richards characters,
Yeah.
And for me to see, Axl singing with them was really super cool.
Yeah.
I'm a big Axl Rose fan. I really like Chinese Democracy. To see Guns N' Roses back and just doing it legit, it's really cool. And if AC/DC wants to continue on with Axl or whoever, that's their deal. And as a musician, I just support it. I support it all the way.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I agree with you in regards to Malcolm. When I heard he wasn't going to be in the band, I thought, oh my God, how because along with Angus, he's the guy that wrote all the music, and so he was besides his guitar playing, that he was such a big part of the songwriting. And when you stop, but I was amazed when they put out that last album. He didn't play on it, but those were all riffs still. That I guess Angus had a ton of riffs that him and his brother have written. Just that they can. He's got plenty of material put out there, and so uniquely enough, if you listen to the latest AC/DC album, even though Malcolm's not playing a lick of a guitar on there, because he was involved with the writing some of those riffs, his influence is still in there.
Yeah, I mean, he's just left an indelible imprint on the hard rock and roll itself, and so for, Angus and the rest of those guys to continue on without him, in a way it kind of makes sense, because it's just kind of, his shadow will kind of forever, be over that band.
Yeah, and when you said, I could see them, carrying on even without Brian Johnson, for the simple fact that, Angus is kind of in a way AC/DC, and, he's the one everybody thinks of, and then also AC/DC, kind of like Queen, they got so many great songs that, you could bring anybody in as a decent enough vocalist, aka like an example like Axl Rose. He's a decent singer and he can do those songs justice, just because the songs are so strong in themselves, and like you said, it just keeps kind of a legacy alive.
Yeah, and why not? What else is Angus going to do at this point? Retire and go start surfing?
Yeah. Well,
I think he still lives in Australia, but, he plays guitar way better than I think he'll ever be able to surf, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Anyways, I want to thank you guys so much for taking time to talk to me today. I really enjoyed talking to you. Before I let you go, is there anything you'd want to say to all your fans out there?
We're coming, and thank you, and listen to Parasite, and what else? Check out EMP, check out our video on YouTube, just show us the love, because we're out here breaking our necks. You're going to see us on a bunch of tours coming up really soon, so check our website, retargetom.com.
We will do that, and before I let you guys go, thanks so much again for taking time to talk to me, but I just want to say I really enjoyed talking to you today, and so when the album does drop in February or March, I'm planning to get in touch with you guys again. I'd like to do this and really kind of talk a little more detail about the album once I get a chance to hear it and it's dropped, and really help you guys promote that. So let's look forward to doing that, but you guys have a nice rest of the day, and I'll be talking to you.
Right on, man. Thanks for having us on.
Take care. Bye-bye.